Well, good evening. My name is John Madrid, and I am the president of the UC Santa Cruz Alumni Association and a proud graduate of the Language Studies program and Oaks College. On behalf of my colleagues on the association's board of directors, I welcome all of you to our annual Alumni Awards ceremony. This is a signature event that the Alumni Association will host each year, and we are delighted to have you join us as we recognize 7 esteemed and truly distinguished honorees. Before we begin tonight, I would like to read the UCSC land acknowledgement. The land on which we gather is the unceded territory of the Awaswas-speaking UP tribe. The Amamutsan tribal band, comprised of the descendants of indigenous people taken to missions Santa Cruz and San Juan Bautista during Spanish colonization of the Central Coast, is today working hard to restore traditional stewardship practices on these lands and heal from historical trauma. Tonight, we come together to celebrate the outstanding achievements of 7 members of our university community who exemplify the extraordinary caliber of UC Santa Cruz. I hope you have taken a moment to read our program, which outlines the amazing accomplishments of today's honorees. The people gathered here today reflect the diversity and breadth of our university community: alumni, students, trustees, deans, administrators, and friends. We are thrilled to have a number of UC Santa Cruz Foundation board members in attendance, representing some of the university's strongest supporters. Please stand so we may acknowledge you. Thank you, Donna. I am especially thankful that so many deans and members of the Chancellor's Cabinet have come to support us today. Please stand so we may acknowledge you. I am also grateful to see the Chancellor Emeritus of UC Santa Cruz in attendance today, George Blumenthal. The UC Santa Cruz Alumni Association faces a tremendous challenge in selecting honorees. I would like to thank the association's Alumni Awards Nominations Committee for taking on this challenge and for recommending this distinguished group. Please stand so we can recognize you for your great work. And finally, it is my honor to serve alongside the hardworking volunteer members of the UCSC Alumni Council. Please stand and let's thank them for their incredible contribution to their alma mater. It is now my pleasure to introduce UC Santa Cruz's 11th Chancellor, Cindy Larive. As a first-generation college graduate, a common thread throughout her career has been a commitment to student success, inclusion, and equity. At UC Santa Cruz, Chancellor Larive has prioritized improving retention and graduation rates and eliminating equity gaps for students from groups traditionally underrepresented in higher education. Chancellor LaRive is an accomplished bioanalytical chemist and has written extensively on active and experiential learning and mentoring. She has encouraged the participation and success of women and other underrepresented groups in STEM and has received campus and national awards for her teaching, research, and leadership. Please join me in welcoming Chancellor Cindy LaRive.
Well, thanks so much, John, for the kind introduction and all the work you do in our Alumni Council. The staff and the Alumni Council have done a great job revamping our Alumni Awards for this celebration, and I hope that you'll agree with me that so far it's been fabulous. It's also great that we've added 2 new awards this year, as we certainly have no shortage of remarkable alumni to recognize. And thanks as well to everybody who's joined us here tonight. It's so great to see you all. Celebrating alumni achievement is one of the most enjoyable parts of my job, and I'm excited to do it here with all of you. Now, we still think about those COVID times of trying to do alumni recognition and other things by Zoom. There's just no substitute for being here in 3 dimensions. So our university is on an unprecedented trajectory. Our students, faculty, and staff conduct transformative research and scholarship that serves the world. We sit at this unique spot in the spectrum of global universities, leading at the intersection of innovation and social justice. We're members of the prestigious Association of American Universities and the Association of Pacific Rim Universities, remarkable achievements that underscore the impact of our research and the quality of our graduate and undergraduate teaching. Equally importantly, our campus is designated as a Hispanic serving institution and an Asian American, Native American, Pacific Islander serving institution. These designations highlight our commitment to equitable educational access. We're a trailblazing, world-changing institution, and our alumni are at the heart of that. Our alumni family is currently about 145,000 strong. You can call me biased, and I might be biased, but I believe our alumni are among the greatest problem solvers and positive change makers in the world. And don't we need that right now? UC Santa Cruz was recently ranked the #2 public university in the nation for students focused on making an impact on the world. Isn't that us? You know, I'm really pleased by that recognition, but I think they must have made a small error when they counted. We probably should have been #1. And regardless of the number, it's clear that our students, and they come to UC Santa Cruz because they are really bent on making a difference in the world. And they make a difference whether that's through art or activism, engineering or economics, sociology or scientific research. And that has been the case since our very earliest days. We have some of our early alumni here today, and they can attest to that as well. It's important for us to recognize our alumni. Their success is the university's success. And through the creation of 2 new awards this year, we have even more opportunities to celebrate our banana slugs. What I especially like about these new honors is they let us highlight the remarkably diverse professional journeys and life experiences of our graduates. Our Alumni Achievement Award is given to graduates who are renowned for their distinguished professional achievement, leadership, and service to the community. The Fiat Lux Award honors alumni and friends of UC Santa Cruz who have demonstrated outstanding achievement and distinguished service in support of our programs and goals. Our newly created Outstanding Recent Alumni Award honors alumni who have graduated within the past 10 years and have already made strong impacts in their professions and in their communities. The UC Santa Cruz Ethos Award, another new award, recognizes alumni whose work and contribution to their community embodies the ethos of UC Santa Cruz, demonstrating a deep commitment to social justice, diversity, equity, and inclusion. You will see that tonight's honorees reflect the incredible range of our alumni. We'll have one of the youngest mayors in the country, an astronomer known worldwide for his expertise on supernovae, a scholar activist whose groundbreaking work continues to shape the field of feminist studies, 3 graduates whose commitment to our campus spurred them to raise more than $1 million for the endowment of one of our colleges, and a poet, author, feminist, and cultural critic whose 40 books, scholarly and popular articles, essays, and poetry created an indelible legacy. So I'm honored to be here tonight to recognize the achievements of these remarkable alumni. So please join me in a round of applause, and then we'll get on with the show.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Good evening, everybody. What a special night we are here today. My name is John Pine. I'm the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Alumni Engagement, and I have the very special job of introducing all of our award winners tonight. So, without further ado, let's begin the presentation. Our first award is the Outstanding Recent Alumni Award. This award honors alumni who have graduated within the past 10 years and who are recognized for their notable achievements. This year's winner is applauded for his extraordinary professional achievements and his significant contributions to society as one of the youngest mayors to ever serve in the United States. We've created short videos about each of our honorees so that we can hear from them and those who know them and their work. Please enjoy learning more about our first honoree, Oaks 2014 graduate, Abel Pineda.
City council, school board members, they need to know what it's like to be a young person today. They need to realize the impacts and the implications of the decisions that they make each and every single day on young people's lives. After losing my best friend in gang violence, I realized that I didn't want the same outcome for other people in our community. I literally outlined it. I said it. I said that I was gonna go to college. I was gonna get myself an education. I said that I was gonna use my education to come back home and serve my community. It is because of students with backgrounds like mine, from non-college going families or first-generation students, that I'm even able to say that I graduated and I'm the first person in my family to graduate from a four-year university.
So our core values are about changing the world for the better. I mean, it sounds like a cliche, but it's really true. And he has taken that to extraordinary lengths. In 2019, Abel became the youngest elected official of the city of San Pablo. Within 3 years, he was serving as vice mayor, and at the age of 30, he became the mayor of the city.
I came to learn that I was the first person to actually be born in the city of San Pablo and serve on our council. I know from personal experience what it's like to grow up here, and I also know how far we have come. Being in this position and having this constituency, it can be challenging because you're managing all this all the time. But it can be rewarding in the fact that you are actively participating in the decision-making process, having an impact on the lives of not just yourself, but the people you grew up with and the people that call this city home. Some people have said that as a young person, I'm wasting my time, that what I say does not matter, that what I'm trying to achieve will not happen. And I said that I don't believe that I was going to continue down my path and fighting for what I believe is right. When I was in high school, my mentors, they introduced me to this topic of 7 generations. That 3 generations before me fought long and hard for me to have access to the resources, the rights, and the opportunities to be where I am today. We are that 4th generation, and it is up to us to set the tone for the next 3 generations to come. This is why it's important for us to work hard, that we deserve better, that we can do better, and we will do better together.
Please welcome to the podium, Abel Pineda.
Wow. That was actually my first time watching this video, and that was nice. What can I say? Honestly, I'm just so thankful to be here with you all. I want to be able to recognize the Alumni Association for presenting me this great honor and this very great privilege. I can't believe that I'm here, but I'm very thankful for all the people that believed in me, that believed in young people alike. I give thanks to my mentors that never lost faith in me, that continue to encourage me to walk down my path, and that encouraged me to be able to use my lived experiences to be able to shape and inform public policy. I want to take a moment to be able to recognize some of my guests here today. I do have my partner, Guadalupe Morales. She's actually my nominator, and I'm thankful and feel so blessed to have you. She is amazing. We've been together for many years, and who knows, maybe we'll be something more soon. I also have my sister with me, Monica Pineda. She's my eldest of my siblings. I'm the youngest and the only boy, but I do appreciate that whenever I do things out in the community, that she has my back, and she's always been there, and I appreciate her big heart that she has. And so thank you so much for being here as well. I also have my mother and father, who I quite literally would not be on this earth if it was not for them. So, from Colima, Mexico, to the San Francisco Bay Area, to the city of San Pablo, I just feel so lucky, so thankful, so privileged. The sister city of my home community is actually the neighboring city to where my family's originally from, in Colima, Mexico. So I was like, wow, what are the odds that we ended up here? But I'm just really thankful for them because they have literally been having my back from the very beginning. It's a tough journey that I've been a part of. As I mentioned in the video, being a young person, when you try to hold space, a lot of people may try to minimize you and say that, oh, that's cute that you're here, or it's cute that you spoke about this. But they don't realize that I'm actually quite intentional about what I'm doing, where I'm at, what I'm saying, and what I'm representing. Also, I have here with me Mary Nicely, our California Chief Deputy Superintendent of Public Instruction for the State Department of Education. And her partner, Dave Nicely, they have been great friends, mentors, supporters, and I can say that I would literally not be in these capacities of serving the public, serving my community, if it wasn't for the opportunities and the mentorship that I received early on, and I'm so absolutely grateful for them. The person that could not be here today, but I still want to be able to recognize, is our State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurman. He has been my longest mentor that I've ever had the opportunity to know, to work with. I mean, I've been working with him since I was, 15 years old, and he gave me all these opportunities to be able to occupy space and just say what it's like to be a young person growing up in a community. He really made us feel visible, feel heard. You know, as someone who had lost his best friend to gang violence at the age of 15, you know, I think it's important to have adult allies that can see your light and that could see that you are in this space because you want to create not just change, but sustainable change. And so although he could not be here today, you know, I got the opportunity to work with him when he was on the Richmond City Council, the West Contra Costa Unified School District, his 2 terms in the state legislature, and also in his capacity as the state superintendent of public instruction. But I could not be in spaces like this if it wasn't for his early belief in me and in young people. And I also want to just take a moment to just recognize what I said in that video, the 7 generations concept. You know, that really hits home for me, because I want to be able to say that, you know, I am here because 3 generations before me fought long and hard for me to have access to the opportunities, the resources that I have here today. I'm that 4th generation. I'm the one that's setting the tone, setting the pace, creating opportunities and programs for the next 3 generations ahead of me. And so when you are able to be mindful of that, I think it brings back the concept of intentionality, of like, why are you where you're at? And so I love that, you know, being the youngest elected official in my community, it's not just something that I get to just say, like, hey, by the way, I was the youngest elected official. I mean that quite literally in the fact that, like, I want young people alike to be able to know that this too can be them. You know, actually, I was just talking over here as well about just around the topic of, like, you know, how we occupy space, but also how we have agency in the world around us. I was telling her about an experience that I had when I was running student-initiated outreach and retention programs here on campus. I know we have this mural that would say, like, where are all the students of color at UC Santa Cruz? And I'm really thankful to student-initiated outreach programs and retention programs because they made an effort to have me be in places like these. And one student that we spoke to, because we weren't just saying, like, we want you to come to UC Santa Cruz. We wanted to encourage them to just pursue and obtain a higher education in general. And she said something that was quite incredible. She said that, you know, while she may not be going to attend as a student at UC Santa Cruz, she was going to pursue and obtain a higher education. But she said something else. She said that it is until we make decisions to be in places like this that there will be people like us in places like these. So that's the way I look at the work that I do. I want to be in these places, not just for myself to be able to uplift my background and my experiences, but to also bring up generations of folks to be able to see themselves in these capacities. In my work with the State Department of Education, you know, I love what I do, and I love who I do it for, and I know what it means to me and to the person I'm doing it for. I think about all the students across our state who come from such a diverse backgrounds and experiences. I know that there are real and true challenges that exist, and we want to be able to create opportunities where maybe they lacked. I think that, you know, with this position, even serving as the Bay Area or Northern California representative for our state superintendent, I get to be able to use this platform to be able to uplift their voices, their experiences, and to work on the mission of creating sustainable and long-term change. So with that being said, again, I want to thank everyone for the opportunity to be able to join you all here today. I really appreciate this honor and this recognition. I look forward to our journey ahead together. And I know that we're going to do great things together us all. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Abel. Our next award is another new award, the UC Santa Cruz Ethos Award. This award recognizes alumni whose work and contribution to their community embodies and reflects the ethos of UC Santa Cruz. The award is given to alumni who embrace diversity, strive for an inclusive community, and encourage the free exchange of ideas. This year's recipient is both an alumna and a faculty emerita, embodies the banana slug spirit, and expresses it through her work. Please enjoy learning more about our next honoree, Bettina Aptheker.
What defines a radical?
What do you plan to do after you get in?
We'll present our demands to the commanding officer, and we will explain the demands of this march, which essentially...
I was raised in a communist family. My father was a very prominent member of the U.S. Communist Party. I mean, I was on the first March for Integration in Washington, D.C. in 1957. I was 13 years old. I was in the party for about 19 years, and then I left. Even in leaving, you don't leave your politics.
What is the point of your march?
But there are hundreds of women that want peace. And they want
When I went to Berkeley, I was very much involved in the free speech movement and then in the movement to end the war in Vietnam. I very much felt part of a radical movement for social justice. That's really been my whole life. My name is Bettina Aptheker, and I taught at UC Santa Cruz for about 40 years.
Bettina is a legendary instructor. Her Introduction to Feminism's course had, I understand it, lines out the door.
Introduction to Feminism was a very popular class. It didn't start out that way. I had 35 students and it was more like a little seminar. And then the next year I taught it, and it was like 100 students. And then the next time I think there were 200 students, and then it just shot up from there. I ended up in classroom unit 2, which seats around 475 people. And it would fill up. I think that I said things that women felt but didn't know they could say. It was feminism, it was about racism, it was about social justice, it was about radical political movements. So it touched on people's lives. And then I would add to that the statistics, the history, the sociology, the politics that would enlarge it so that people could understand then that the feelings that they had legitimacy and reasons.
She did it in a way, and still does it in a way when she comes to campus, that just brings this tremendous energy and excitement and enthusiasm.
My very strong feeling was to do as much as I could to uplift the spirit of my students. The point is to encourage people to pursue things that they're interested in and what they would like to do.
She has been incredibly impactful for all of the thousands of students that she has taught. She has changed their lives. I can't imagine a more worthy recipient of the Ethos Award than Bettina Aptheker.
I think of myself as wanting to do good and positive work in the world, and that I'm still capable of it. Very fortunate to have had this kind of career in this place. I'm very grateful for that.
Please welcome Bettina Aptheker.
Thank you so much. Jasmine, thank you for your interview. I didn't know you were in the film. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Chancellor Reeve, thank you so much. I want to thank UCSC Alumni Association for this really wonderful honor. Thank you so much. You know, there's a saying, you all know it, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, in my case, it takes a feminist, anti-racist, global village to raise me up. I am so grateful to so many colleagues and friends on this campus, in the Santa Cruz community, and to the thousands of students from all over the world who have studied with me and taught me so much. Here tonight at my table, I want to introduce Karen Yamashita, Professor Emerita in Literature and Creative Writing, a wonderful colleague. And we were joking at dinner that one of the best times we had was when we co-chaired the UC Presidential Chair in Feminist Critical Race and Ethnic Studies. And they gave us $75,000 a year, and we could do all these wonderful things. And we said maybe they could give us more money and we could do it again. And I want to introduce one of my students from 1982, I think, who most recently got her Ph.D. at San Jose State, and that is Blanca Tavera. Blanca, who's done amazing work for many, many years in the Watsonville community and teaches at San Jose State. And I would like to also introduce my beloved daughter, Jenny Kurzweil, who's right there, who's on the Santa Cruz County Foundation. And her partner and my wonderful daughter-in-law, who's my baseball buddy. This is very important. We go to baseball games together. as Andrea Roth, who teaches is a high school teacher at PCS. So that's Andrea. And then I just have to thank so much my family for their steadfast and loving compassion, and especially my wife, Kate Miller, who has been with me for 44 years. Thank you. And Kate is a retired professor, teacher from Monterey Peninsula College. Yeah. So thank you all so much. And I just have to say one more thing. I had a wonderful morning with the sisters and brother of bell hooks, whom I'm just so grateful that you're here, and so grateful to the association for bringing you. Thank you. Thank you.
Our next award tonight is the Fiat Lux Award. This award honors alumni and friends of UC Santa Cruz who have demonstrated outstanding achievement and distinguished service in support of the university's programs and goals. This year, there are 3 recipients, only one of whom was available to join us tonight. These 3 Crown College alumni whose support has made an indelible impact on the campus and serve as outstanding advocates for UC Santa Cruz. Please enjoy learning more about Jim, Sue, and Lisa.
It's made our students very proud of belonging to Crown because of these achievements. Every time I work with this group, is essentially they have so much experience about the real world that you don't have to explain much. They know, and they know how to make it happen.
So I was part of the first class of Crown College, 1967.
I came to UC Santa Cruz because I wanted to be part of an educational experiment. They were trying something new, young faculty, the opportunity to interact on an intellectual level, and it was counterculture as well, and I was counterculture. I actually had even long hair then.
There was undergraduate research. There were interesting majors. There were, you could live on campus.
There were no grades.
There were no grades.
The pass-fail system was totally enchanting to me, that people came here to study, not for a grade, but to learn. One television.
We were all thrown together as pioneers to create a new voluntary community, and it was extraordinary.
It's shocking, really, that it looks so much like it did when we came here.
It's very clear to me that they feel completely privileged to be at Crown at the time that they were here. And they feel that it empowered them to have these really fulfilling careers. And now they want to give back.
We had come up one day and ran into some students, some Crown students, and I think they were really curious about that, like we could have been here 50 years ago and that we were still alive. And so we took this walk through the dorms, and it's like, oh.
No study room.
Yeah.
No place to just hang out.
And the dorm rooms were doubles. They're now triples. The lounge on each floor was a lounge that we shared as a big space. No, that's now a triple, maybe even a quad. There was no study space.
It really sunk in what these students were going through. So when the call came for, hey, how about doing something for the library? Yeah. I was excited by that.
There was practically no books. The space was really kind of run down, and they thought maybe we should just revitalize it and really design it in a way that's looking into the future.
Oh, I spent so much time here.
Everything can be reconfigured, so it can be set up for a larger group, and that was the idea, make it really flexible for single study or group study.
Right. If you wanted to study with other people, there was always a place that you could find. And so oftentimes you didn't have to leave your dorm. And at the time of the remodel of the library, it's like, okay, this is one remaining space that still has been dedicated to this meeting for students. And then upgrading the internet so that the connectivity up here was better because they needed it.
Even more important than the funds that we collected is all the connections that were made by calling their friends, reconnecting with them, explaining what this was about. So they really built a network, and they discovered that they had a lot of fun working together.
That's when we formed this group. It was a voluntary formation of a group that would work with Manel to support his efforts because we all have enormous admiration for him.
One of his points is that if students are part of a community and they have a sense of community, they're going to do better in their studies. They will have a higher graduation rate. They'll get through in 4 years rather than 5 and 5.5, all of which cost money. And so we've essentially say, fine, we don't know what the answers are, but these other people do, and what they need is money to implement those plans. That's where we can help.
The 50th anniversary of the first graduating cohort, that took it to another level.
We really wanted to provide an extraordinary experience for people who could make it to the reunion.
We said no fundraising, we'll do that later, and if we're successful, the money will follow. And we all three totally believed that, and I think that's what happened.
They spent months getting and curating their mailing list, building a website. They made focus groups for the events. Essentially, they did the work that it would have taken a team of professionals to get done, right? And they did it for free. They really owned the project. I mean, they said, we're gonna raise $1 million, and they did.
We were given a heck of a lot. And for the other alumni out there, you were given a heck of a lot. And you can give back. But the interesting thing is, you're going to get back even more. Not so much maybe in terms of money, but in terms of the connections, being with young people and working with younger people, seeing other views. These are all what keeps you alive and keeps you vibrant. And it's a great experience.
I nominated Lisa, Sue, and Jim for the Fiat Lux Award because through their incredibly generous effort, they're having a major impact on the university as a whole, putting the colleges back on the map for the academics.
For me, I just feel like I got the education of a lifetime. You can't replicate what we had in the 60s, that's not going to happen, but you can provide students with opportunities that build resilience and confidence and care that can be done in a lot of different creative ways.
We think we've set down some good footprints if anybody wants to follow. So I'm speaking to volunteers out there. You can do this and you won't regret it. And the end is making a real difference for students. That's what it's all about.
Receiving the award tonight is Jim Lapsley.
It's a bad sign when people pull out notes. The first question I have is, how come my two colleagues look so good? Sue Nerton and Lisa Rose are out of the country on trips scheduled long ago, so it falls to me to speak for them as well as for myself. As during the campaign, we speak with one voice, and so we ask that you consider that what follows comes from the three of us. Aside from expressing our heartfelt thanks for this tremendous honor, we want to use our time to challenge everyone in this room, but especially the campus academic leadership, to strengthen the academic component of the colleges and to update and renew the educational experiment that was UC Santa Cruz at the founding. UCSC was conceived as an educational experiment based upon academic residential colleges, small classes, pass-fail grading, close interaction with faculty who held academic appointments both within their academic disciplines, then called boards of study, and within a college. That experiment ended in the 1980s. We do not call for a return to the 1960s, but we challenge all of you here tonight to refresh the experiment by strengthening the academic role of the residential colleges. We believe that a revitalized college system will benefit students and faculty, promote the uniqueness of the campus within the UC system, and, if promoted correctly, lead to significant donations from members of the pioneer classes. We expect that a revitalized college system will make UC Santa Cruz the system-wide leader in undergraduate education. For faculty members, a college system that will allow buyout time from academic departments and which rewards participation in the colleges, which is where it fell apart in the 80s, will provide an opportunity for pedagogical innovation and including interdisciplinary and project-based teaching. This will only appeal to some faculty. That's fine. We don't need everyone, we just need some. But the reality is the Academic Senate has purview over courses, and if the colleges are to be reincorporated into the UC Santa Cruz Academic Center, there must be participation from Senate faculty. For the students, a strengthened college system will enhance a sense of community while providing skills and practical experience that will be valued following graduation. Jobs. We fully expect that the percentage of students graduating and time to graduation will be improved and superior to other UC campuses. The academic revitalization of the colleges will require investment, but our recent campaign shows that pioneer alumni represent a major untapped potential for fundraising on the campus for the colleges. For most alumni, the college was and remains the emotional center of their campus experience. It's where we became autonomous adults away from our family. It's where we made deep friendships, and for some of us, it was where we met our life partners. We were very lucky. Members of the pioneer classes, by which we mean roughly the first decade, the first 10 years, are entering retirement. They're beginning to take minimum distributions from IRAs. There is a very real opportunity for fundraising. But we must report that most of the 60 or so individuals whom we contacted perceived that Santa Cruz had given up on the college concept. The colleges had become named collections of dormitories, and that the campus had become just like any other UC campus, but with a much better view. Based on Crown alumni's generous response for this campaign, we predict that members of the pioneer classes from other colleges will likewise fund a campaign to support their colleges if this is placed in the context of a campus-wide vision to revitalize the colleges as a whole. So how do we proceed? The campus has a blueprint for how to go forward. Last December, John Moore of UC San Diego and Catherine Badgley of the University of Michigan conducted an external review of the University of California Santa Cruz College system. We quote from the first set of recommendations. 1A, create more robust integration between colleges and departments by engaging more departmental faculty in college courses and activities. 1B, create better connections between the colleges and university relations in order to promote the value of the colleges in campaigns and communications. A new collective mission statement from the colleges could express their continued relevance to student success. End of quote. We support all of the report's recommendations, although we see this document as a beginning, not an end. We understand that the strengthening of the colleges will be an emergent process as faculty engage with provosts, students, and the community beyond the campus. We recognize that integrating faculty with colleges will require changes in current roles and in the academic review process, but we're optimistic this can occur if supported by campus leadership. Our call for increased faculty involvement with colleges and for an increased academic component within the colleges may seem to be a criticism of the work done by non-Senate faculty lecturers and the provosts. Nothing could be further from our intent. In our view, provosts and lecturers have done an exemplary job and have shown what is possible in a system where the colleges have been on the periphery of the campus's academic enterprise. We are arguing for what might be if the campus embarks on a new experiment in undergraduate education. We're excited about the possibilities for Santa Cruz. We believe that the members of the Pioneer classes will respond generously to a renewed mission. Last year, I was researching at the Bancroft Library at UC Berkeley, and while walking across the campus core, I noted 7 or 8 parking signs with the message, "Parking reserved for Nobel laureates." How nice. We suggest that UCSC can become the system-wide leader in undergraduate education well before it creates parking spaces for Nobel laureates. So, on behalf of the Gang of Three, Sue Nerton, Lisa Rose, and myself, we thank you once again for this tremendous honor. We really are blown away. And for this opportunity to share a rather pointed thoughts with you all. Thank you very much. Fiat Lux.
Thank you, Jim. The final awards of the night are the Alumni Achievement Awards. These awards are presented to UC Santa Cruz graduates who are renowned for their distinguished personal achievement and service to the community. This is the highest honor bestowed by the Alumni Association. The alumni receiving this award have made a positive impact in the lives of others and are recognized for their longevity and consistency of accomplishments over their professional lifetime. This year, we are presenting this award to 2 alumni, both of whom are highly regarded for their professional achievements and contributions to society. Please enjoy learning more about our first honoree, Mark Phillips.
My name is Mark Phillips, and I'm an astronomer. Title is Director Emeritus of the Las Campanas Observatory in Chile, which means I'm retired. There are astronomers who are theorists who work from their offices and use their brains and computers. And then there are observers like me who go up and try to prove the theorists right or wrong. Well, when I showed up at Santa Cruz, it was a completely different level than San Diego State. For the first year, I was sure I was flunking out. But I didn't fail any courses. I've been living in Chile for close to 50 years. I've worked at a couple of the observatories down here, and I've also done a lot of research along the way.
Mark Phillips's work is used every day by teams of astronomers from all around the world. The Phillips relationship at its heart is quite simple. It says that the brighter a supernova explosion, the slower it fades away. So these are literally some of the biggest, most extreme events in the entire universe, and you can see them from millions or billions of light years away.
We actually look back in time when we look at objects that are more and more distant. With these supernovae, they're so bright you can look back to when the universe was half of its age.
The Phillips relationship lets us use exploding stars as distance indicators.
Actually got out graph paper, that's what we used back in those days. Plotted the peak brightness, and I found that the ones that dimmed more slowly were the ones that were the brightest.
This is really important because it means that if you can measure how fast a supernova is fading, you can work out how bright it should be, compare that to the brightness you see, and you have its distance.
You end up with sort of a history of how fast the universe was expanding as a function of time.
When people applied the Phillips relationship, to their shock, they found out that these were telling us that the universe is not only expanding, but it's accelerating in its expansion. It's getting faster and faster.
And the only way that can happen was some other form of energy other than gravity. That's what we call dark energy. We call it dark because we don't understand. It's actually sort of interesting that the Nobel Prize was awarded for something that's not understood. But it basically said, hey, there's something missing. That's really important.
And Mark Phillips doesn't just have one thing named after him, he has another as well. In a completely different part of astronomy, the study of supermassive black holes, there's something called the BPT diagram, which everyone in astronomy uses almost every day. And the P in the BPT diagram is Mark Phillips. So to have two things named after you is extremely unusual.
Little bit of extra there. Please welcome to the podium, Mark Phillips.
Wow, I'll say wow too. This is really a lot of fun. I'd like to thank very much Chancellor Larive and the Alumni Association for this award. I'm both tremendously honored and also humbled at the same time to be selected along with Bell Hooks. I should say that when I told my son, who lives in Australia, that I'd been selected for this award and pointed him to the webpage, he said, "Bell Hooks!" He wasn't so impressed by me. Anyway, 50 years ago, hard to believe, I arrived in Santa Cruz to begin my graduate studies in astronomy at UCSC. I was skinny, 20 kilos skinnier, timid, I wore those terrible glasses, and was completely unsure of myself. And, you know, although the beauty of the campus really blew me away, I have to admit that I was really offset by the difficulty of the courses I took, and more than once during that first year, I thought I was not going to make it. But fortunately, thanks to the support of my professors and also my fellow grad students who tutored me a little bit to get me back up to the speed I needed to be, I managed to make it through. And it was a real joy to receive my Ph.D. from here. I had the great fortune of my first year being given a research assistantship with Professor Donald Osterbrock, who was a giant in astronomy. And he was just the right person for me. He was like a father figure, kept me on the straight and narrow. And he had a tremendous influence on me as a student and later in as my career as a professional astronomer. He taught me how to formulate a research project, to carry out the observations with the telescope and the instrument, and then to analyze and interpret the data, and finally to describe and summarize it in a research paper. My 4 years at UCSC provided me with the knowledge and the tools that I needed to go out and have a successful career in astronomy, and I'm forever grateful for the opportunity that this university gave me. There are lots of people I'd like to thank at this time. First of all, let me thank the astronomers who are over here at table 9. thank you to those who hosted my stay here, particularly to Ryan and Jonathan, and to my ex-professors, George Blumenthal and Stan Woosley. It's really a pleasure for me to see you here. I also like to recognize some of my fellow grad students, in particular Nick Sunsef and Jack Baldwin, who was the B in BPT, and who became lifelong friends and also have been frequent scientific collaborators. Also, some of the directors I worked with, or worked for, along the way, especially Pat Osmer, who was the one who hired me back in Chile in a tenure-track position, really gave me the opportunity to cement my career in astronomy. And Bob Williams, who was a frequent visitor to UCSC, who became both my mentor and my brother. We really do feel like we're brothers, so he's a great guy. I've had the privilege to work with a number of postdocs over the year. I'm not going to name them all, but it's really been invigorating for me to work with younger astronomers. And of course, last but not least, certainly my dear wife, Silvana. We've been going on at it for about 45 years, and she also keeps me on the straight and narrow. We have 3 wonderful children, Brian, Michelle, and Nicholas, who put up with their astronomer dad. And finally, we now have 4 wonderful grandchildren, Samuel, Nawel, Ike, and Ian, who have brought us lots of joy. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mark. Last but certainly not least is our final honoree of the night. Receiving the Alumni Achievement Award posthumously is the trailblazing author and theorist, cultural critic, artist, poet, and public speaker, Bell Hooks. What an incredible honor it is to present this award to an icon and a legend. Let's learn a little bit more about Bell.
Bell Hooks started her lessons in being a feminist, unapologetic badass, I would say, in the hills and hollers of Kentucky. She says that she owes her radical feminist critique to, quote, the hillbilly country folk who are my ancestors and kin. And so having learned that, she then went on to Stanford, then Madison, and finally UC Santa Cruz.
When I was a graduate student here in the History of Consciousness program, Bell Hooks was a graduate student in literature, and we ended up in classes together. She was very sharp, spoke her mind, and very engaging.
I think she had a difficult time here in many ways. It was not just a predominantly white institution, it was an overwhelmingly white institution. But at the same time, she engaged with the place, learned in the place, and change the place through her presence here.
In 2004, she came to Berea College. She said, everything I am, feminist, critic, writer, was a seed planted in the soil of Kentucky. She felt kinship here with the motto and mission of the college to make of one blood all peoples of the earth, and her own message that feminism is for everybody and patriarchy has no gender.
Until black women and white women understand each other better, there will not be an end to racism in this society.
She was a powerful cultural critic, a powerful voice against racism in all its different forms.
Nothing to fear about the word transgress. It just means to push against the boundaries.
She had responses that she could articulate.
She's written 22 books, all of which are in print, including this thoughtful.
If you look at her books, she doesn't have reference notes. She refused. There was a feeling about a certain kind of academic requirement that she thought distracted from what it was she was trying to say.
I feel like men could march for days by themselves.
She said the unpopular thing, and she didn't pause to consider how that would affect her reputation. She authentically showed up to ask the right questions.
We are in danger as a nation
of silencing any form of speech.
I think Bell Hooks deserves this Alumni Award because if you think about the enormity of the cultural and intellectual contribution that she made and influencing generation after generation, you couldn't have picked a better person.
I don't even know how people can live lives without people of color.
I think her legacy is that she is perhaps the most accessible public feminist intellectual of at least my lifetime. As influential as Angela Davis is, for example, as Audre Lorde is, they were not writing for the general public the way that Bell was. And you see this in her talks, in her public scholarship, and even in her books. She does not use academic jargon, and yet she is still unscathing and uncompromising in her critique.
She could feel what was happening energetically in the room and respond to that. And to me, that's what makes a great speaker, but it's also what makes a great teacher.
She never had a regular faculty position. She never got a MacArthur Award. She was never given, in my view, the stature and status institutionally that she deserved and should have had.
It's very moving to me to know that when she returned to UC Santa Cruz some years ago, she spoke of it as the place that changed the fate that she was born into.
Bell forever altered the discourse surrounding feminism, pushing for the inclusion of voices of Black and working class women. It's our hope that honoring her with our Alumni Achievement Award will bring wider recognition of her important work. Her affiliation with UC Santa Cruz is truly an honor.
We're humbled to have members of Bell's family with us tonight. Please welcome her siblings Gwenda, Kenneth, and Angela.
Chancellor LaRive, Vice Chancellor Pine, President Madrid, and the Alumni Association. And special shout out to AD Barbara Olden Petrie. Distinguished alumni awardees and invited guests, good evening from Hopkinsville, Kentucky. I'd like to first share that on December 19th, 2021, just 4 days after Bell's passing, as the world was still mourning, Lenny Denise wrote an article for the LA Times titled, "Appreciation. Here's what we all owe UCSC alumni Bell Hooks." The article was summed up with this one impactful sentence: "We can never thank Bell Hooks enough." On behalf of the Watkins family, Angela and Ken, who are with me tonight, Valerie, who could not attend but is with us in spirit, we sincerely want to thank the University of California, Santa Cruz for honoring our beloved sister with the posthumous 2013 Alumni Achievement Award. Because it was here, as a graduate, that she dared to dream beyond the fate that was designated for her as a Black woman during that time. Bell also wrote, "When we are loving, we openly and honestly express care, affection, responsibility, commitment, and trust." To this UCSC family, we thank you for your open expression of love, affection, and respect for our sister, Gloria G. Thank you. This award will remind us all of the indelible mark Bell etched here on this campus and on the world. We graciously accept this award that not only says to the Watkins family, but to our hometown of Hopkinsville, Kentucky, that the life, works, and legacy of Bell Hooks will not be forgotten. And for that, we are sincerely grateful. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Abel, Bettina, Jim, Mark, Gwenda, Angela, and Kenneth for being with us today, sharing your passions with us, and bringing us together to celebrate the best of UC Santa Cruz. Please join Chancellor Reeve and myself in one more round of applause for this outstanding group. UC Santa Cruz takes great pride in your accomplishments, and we are delighted to count you as members of our Banana Slug family. Now, I'd like to also thank our talented alumni engagement team, in particular, Barbara Oden-Petrie, who's right over there. Stand for us, Barbara. Barbara's really the architect of this event. We couldn't be here without her. And our wonderful events team, and of course, the catering team worked so hard for all of us today. I hope you want to have some champagne with us and maybe some dessert. So we're going to be in the alumni room, which is just right outside here. So please join me. Thank you again. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you soon.